Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Rome Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. This is Rome Business Radio. We are broadcasting from the Hardy Realty Studios located in downtown Rome on Broad Street. We work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. I am Roger Manus with Rome Business Radio.
I'm Carly Parker with the Rome Floyd Chamber. Today on our podcast, we have John Rutter and Brian Carter with Elders Ace Hardware, Cheryl Jenkins with One Community United, and Julie Smith with TRED.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
How we doing?
Great.
Good.
Thanks for being here to our cocktail party without the cocktails, unless y'all have spiked your drinks. Is that just water?
Just water here.
Okay, great. Well, first thing we like to do off the top is kind of go around our room here and let everybody give a broad overview for a minute or two of their organization. Julie Smith has been on the podcast a couple of times before with TRED, which I love. We were talking before the podcast. My dog and I walk the trails often. Tell folks about TRED, what they may not know. Actually start with the acronym so that people understand what we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Roger. So TRED stands for Trails for Recreation and Economic Development. It's a very intentional acronym. Obviously, you have recreation on the trails, but what a lot of people don't think about is the dollar figure that trails also can bring to your community. So I'm the executive director. I'm the only employee of TRED. We've been in existence for 10 years. We are a public-private partnership between the county, Floyd County, and the city of Rome. We couldn't do this without them. So we have, in the 10 years that we've been here, we are responsible with the city and the county for adding over 20 miles of trails in and around downtown Rome. So we're real proud of what we've done in the community.
And for people who may not be familiar with Rome, of course, we're a city built around rivers, and the trails walk through the scenic, just talk about the beauty of the trails and the scenic locales.
Well, and you're right, Roger. So we obviously have three rivers, in which to navigate. And truly the city in years past, they were very forward thinking, and Ridge Ferry was the first trail. And then it just kind of went out from there. So I refer to our trails as kind of like fingers. It's not a belt line. It's not a perimeter trail, since they do have to navigate and go along the rivers. So right now we do have 15 miles of multi-use paved trails downtown. But then also TRED has built mountain bike trails at Jackson Hill, and then also there's 6 miles of trails up there, hiking and mountain biking trails, and then also out in West Rome at the former GE facility. Currently, we have 11 miles of trails. So those are wooded. Jackson Hill and GE are wooded trails. So a lot of people aren't aware of those. So just one more thing to add to the outdoor recreation amenity.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, well, thank you. We'll circle back around. Cheryl Jenkins, One Community United. Tell us about your organization, please, ma'am.
We are a group of citizens who gathered together about 7 years ago and just started talking about how can we bridge some of the divides in our community. And even 7 years ago, there were people who didn't get outside of their regular group of friends and family and church members. And so we said, let's be intentional about making friends, just listening and learning about each other, especially people who might be different than we are. So in that time, we have done educational events. We're getting ready Sunday for our sixth one-table dinner, which is on the Chief John Ross Walking Bridge, which is a beautiful venue and a place for us to symbolically say, with our rivers and the bridge, let's help divide. Let's bridge all those divides that separate us and come together and have a meal.
Well, it's interesting. What prompted the initial bringing together, creating the organization? Because, obviously the country is very divided politically, very divided on a lot of issues. So what prompted this to get going a few years ago?
Well, 7 years ago, Ken Fuller was writing editorials in the paper about what was going on in our country. So this is kind of heavy, but we were concerned about Trayvon Martin and the situation in Florida, and then Ferguson, Missouri happened. And so Rome, what we wanted as citizens to be proactive. We wanted to say, could this happen in our community? And we didn't want it to. So we all came together, and initially we brought in our local police departments. And so we've tried to build relationships across our community to say, let's all work together. We all love Rome. We think it's a great community, and we think that we can be a model for other cities around the state and country. So that's what initially brought us together.
And going strong still.
We are. We have a lot of support in the community. We have a lot of people who help sponsor us, and it's great. Yeah, we're doing well.
Okay, well, let's visit with the gentleman from Elders Ace Hardware. Hi, guys. How are we?
Good. How are you, sir?
All right, you're going to have to refresh my memory. Who is who?
Sure. I'm Brian Carter, the store manager for the Rome location.
Okay.
Elders.
And John Rutter, I'm the director of marketing and buying at Elders Ace.
I gotcha. Okay, well, who wants to tell us about your organization?
I guess I'll start out. So we're excited to be in Rome. Just a little bit about Elders Ace. Our founder, Elder Glenn, he actually founded our business in 1969, and so we've been in business over 50 years now. Elder actually, he grew up in Chickamauga, Georgia, but came to Darlington School, which is here in Rome, Georgia, which is kind of our connection to Rome and what brought us back later on to start the business, Elders Ace, here in Rome, Georgia. And so we're excited to be here. Just recently moved from where we are. We're located on Turner McCall to 610 Shorter Avenue, and so we're excited to be at the new location. Just a lot more opportunity for us to provide goods and services that the community needs, and so we're really that hometown hardware store that can take care of hardware, paint, lawn and garden, just everything that you need.
Yeah, I went to your website, and it's interesting. A lot of businesses will just do their website, but your business was key on putting your history and your values. Talk about that if you could a little bit, please, sir.
Yeah, that's actually one of the core values that drew me to the company was honor God. That was one of the ones that really stood out to me, and what a moral, ethical company that they were. So that's somebody that really drew to me for wanting to be employed through the organization. So it's been a great family-owned business and pleasure to work for them.
And when did you start?
I actually started in January of this last year. So, I'm a Birmingham transplant, moved up here. My wife and I, we built a house on Weiss Lake and started working for Elders, and I came from another Ace store in Pell City over in Alabama. And transferred in, and what a ride it's been. It's been great, I tell you.
We're lucky to get Brian. He, having that ACE experience from Pell City, he was store manager at that store, and so he was looking to relocate just the time that we were in the process of moving the store, and so really worked out good. A lot of folks that you'll find at Elders are very tenured folks that have a lot of experience, and that way when you come in with a question, we can help you. So we're really glad to have Brian.
Well, tell us a little bit about, there's Ace Hardware and there's Elders Ace. So explain that to me.
So Ace Hardware is a cooperative,
yep.
And so basically the owners of the store own the corporation, which is a little bit different than a franchise. We think of it, we kind of got the best of both worlds. We have a buying group that can be competitive to where we can, pricing wise, we can be competitive with your big box locations, but at the same time, we have a lot of flexibility. And so we can have things that are not offered by all Ace stores. You'll find at our Rome store that we have an outdoor section with, that we have firearms and ammunition. We have home and gift, which is something we do special to our stores. We have steel, we have garden centers, we have these unique things that's not really a part of Ace, but it's things that we can layer in. So it's really, Ace is a great partner because we are able to pull in all the core hardware from Ace, but then you can really get down to the community level and add all those niches and those different products that really make you that community store.
Okay, we'll circle back around. I want to chat with Julie here again about TRED. What are you working on now? What are the next areas of growth and expansion, and where are we headed?
Well, like you mentioned earlier before we went on air, Roger, so let me back up a little bit. So this past June, we had the ribbon cutting for what we call the Redmond Trail Connection, which was a big deal, which is actually why TRED formed 10 years ago. It was a federally funded project that we partnered with the county on.
Oh, that's right. That was the original goal, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the goal. And so essentially that if you were at the Mount Berry post office, instead of going left to the Mount Berry Trail, now you can go right and continue down Avenue A all the way to downtown. So, because in the past, Rome downtown was not really, we were connected to the trail, but the northern part was not. So we're real excited about that. So we had the ribbon cutting for that this summer. And so now at the north end of the Mount Berry.
I walked across the bridge before the ribbon cutting.
It's okay. There's a lot of people did. It's okay.
Sorry. I just had to see it.
I know. It's really, it's
awesome.
Awesome. It's super awesome. So, and I think a misnomer is a lot of people don't realize why that project took 10 years. And for those who deal with federal dollars, that's really why. So really, what TRED has done is really our goal is that's why we partner with the city and the county for the local funding, the SPLOST funding. So that's why it's really important to get that money, because projects can move a lot faster. So now, if you've been to the north end of the Mount Berry Trail, the bridge has just been installed. That's a city project. And so the city's working on engineering to continue that trail across to the west side of the Armuchee Connector Bypass Bridge. I know that's a mouthful, but think of the RV parking at the Rome Braves Stadium on the north end. And so essentially the trail will come out there, and then you're at the north end of Rich Ferry, and then you continue south, and then you're at the Eco Center and the library and downtown. So we're working with the city on that. We've also, like I said, built some more miles of trails, wooded trails out at GE. So like I said, we have 11 miles, but the trails that we've just completed, 6 miles of trails out there. And so we just have a lot of projects. We can kind of get into what we have going on later, but that's really what we've been focusing on.
Well, we don't have a representative from Hardy Realty here today, although we always thank them because they're our studio sponsor as we broadcast from the Hardy on Broad Space here in downtown Rome. But I can tell you from talking to them, TRED is impactful to not only the culture of how people live, but real estate values. Because it's such a vibrant, important part of the community.
Right. And that's true. And so that's actually a good segue, Roger, because so we actually have walk and talks. So I realized that a lot of people, don't know where a lot of the trails are. Obviously, people don't want to walk by themselves. You need that sense of community. And our tagline is connecting community. And so
we should have used that for the podcast.
Yeah. So the last Saturday of every month, we meet at a different trailhead, and we have different speakers. So to your point, sometimes we have business speakers, but the main commonality are trails. So we know that trails help mental, just go out on the trail and just take a break, just mentally, physically. Obviously, there are so many benefits to being physically active, and the trails have that, and the trails are free to use, right? It's not like you have to pay to use a tennis court or baseball field. So it's free for everybody. And so we have different speakers. And so this next one coming up September 24th is a nature walk. So we'll go to Mount Berry Trail and talk about, nature. So yes, trails benefit in a myriad of ways. And so that's kind of what we're trying to get out.
Okay. My dog and I love him. Rowdy gets all excited when he sees us heading to the post office. Cheryl, how are you guys funded? Just total donation and
grants and sponsorship. So our one table dinner is part fundraiser. That's our biggest event of the year to help raise some funds, but we also have applied for some grants and have a lot of people who just help to sponsor us. We have some business partners. Hardy is one of ours as well.
Aren't they great?
Jimmy Byers is wonderful.
Yeah.
And Advent, which even before Advent, Redmond was one of our sponsors, and Atrium. So Berry College, with our dinner, we'll have 40 or so Berry students who volunteer, who do the serving of the food and helping with setup. So we have a big partnership with Berry College. We're hoping to, we've talked to Stacy Marshall and the group that's done, Her Name is Hester, the documentary that's come out of Berry College. I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's going to premiere at the Film Festival in Rome this year. So we've partnered with RIF, we've partnered with the NAACP. We have business partners, and we just have a lot of people in the community who support. And we are funded by, we have a Faith Leaders Coalition who, so several of the churches, about 15 in Rome, also help fund us because we have that part of what we do too, connecting the different faith communities. So we have I'm afraid to name them all because I'm sure I'd leave somebody out, but we do have a group of churches who also help fund us.
Well, it's interesting. Like I said, having visited your website, seems to me you're kind of your board or the original people who got together. It was kind of trying to create a cross section of our city and community. It's various faiths, genders, skin colors. It is the melting pot that we all talk about. So the idea is to create this unity and spread the word. What do you need? What do you need from our listeners?
Well, before COVID, we were having monthly meetings. We had 6 or 7 monthly meetings where we would meet at set times during the month. And the idea was just to bring people together. Initially was to build relationships. We were very intentional about we're not setting an agenda. We want to get to know our neighbors.
Nonpartisan.
We want to listen and be respectful of everybody. And in our faith leaders group, I'm sorry, I left out our local Jewish temple because that is part of our faith leaders group as well. So initially it was just let's get together and talk, and from there we have been, with our funding, we've been able to hire an organizer who is also helping to be more intentional about listening to a broad group of people across the community. And we started with the churches and the faith leaders because that's where, Rome is. I forgot how many churches per capita we have in Rome, but
a lot.
So, we wanted to do that initially, to reach out to our faith leaders, to help bring people together and start listening and listening to not just the leaders who are very supportive of us. We have a great relationship with our commissioners, and law enforcement, but, to listen to everybody in our community. So we have done that. Through the last 2 years, we've probably listened and had meetings to listen to about 2,000 or 3,000 people of what is it about Rome that you love? What is it that we can do better? And so from there, that's going to drive our agenda, besides just educating and listening and building friendships. Most of the people on our board I never knew until I started attending meetings 7 years ago, and it's a serious topic, but yet we have fun. We love each other. We've developed great friendships across all divides.
Because if we're talking and communicating, that's helping to solve the problem before it even exists.
And a lot of it is around food, because we also know that
this is Rome.
I know, and you have to sit down at a table. And for example, our dinner on Sunday, Logan Littlejohn from La Scala is the chef who is helping to organize the food and the service. And so we have local merchants who are providing the food for us, Moe's and Harvest Moon and Sunflower Bakery and La Scala. So
are these meetings you can just go on your website and buy tickets for, or is it open to the public?
The meetings that we had, our small group meetings, are just open to the public. We usually try and post them in the paper and on our website and on our Facebook and social media sites, and we just encourage people to come. And that takes a little bit of courage too, because I can assure people that it's a great group of people. So starting with our wonderful mayor, Sunday Stevenson, and on down through the community, business leaders, faith leaders. It's a lot of.
And so you get public speakers to come and talk kind of more about the educating purposes of how y'all want this organization to go?
The small group meetings are just individual community member citizens wanting to get together and talk and build relationships. Once a year, we do an educational event. And with COVID, we did some movie nights. So this summer we did a movie in conjunction with Juneteenth at the auditorium. We did the documentary by Ava DuVernay, 13th, about the 13th Amendment. But last summer we did Black Panther and Just Mercy, and we had several. We had 2 nights where we just invited. It was free. Anybody could come to the movies for free that night and pick one of the shows that we were showing. So we do both. We're trying to educate and open up the conversation, and then also
kind of make it more of an organic kind of setting.
Right.
Well, it's very interesting, and it actually made me think of a question for Brian and John. Ace Hardware is kind of this brand, but it's Elders Ace, as you were describing earlier. You guys want to have that small town, local neighborhood, community connection. So am I saying that correctly? Is that kind of a goal of how you want to operate your stores?
It's one of our values.
Yeah.
It's kind of that operating, we still want to have that close connection with the community. So as we've grown, keeping those connections with our customers, we have relationships with a lot of our customers, and so as they come in, it's not you're just a customer coming in, but you're a name, you're a person that's coming in, and we can help you, and we help not only homeowners maintain their home, but also businesses that are keeping their businesses up to date as well. And so we've got that we've always been fortunate to have that close relationship. When you walk into the store, you're going to see Brian, you're going to see Dwayne, you're going to Teresa up front.
Or Vicky. Is she still there?
Vicky's actually retired now.
Okay.
And so, but Vicky's a great example. She's a longtime associate that was with Elders ACE, and fortunately, I mean, she was able to retire a couple of years ago. But again, when you walk in, you know our people, and we know the families that live around the store, and we're helping. And so, we're just glad to do that. And really and truly, we offer, services, we offer goods but really what sets Elders ACE apart is just that we're there to help you with those items as well. And so helpfulness is a key part of our business.
Well, and you don't just serve Rome, right? This is
that is true. We serve the North Georgia area and Eastern Tennessee, and just a little bit into Western North Carolina as well.
So, like, how many stores?
We have 25 stores right now.
Wow, good. And but still with the local neighborhood connection at each one of the stores.
Yes. We are family owned, but we're 100% locally operated. And so we pull in. One of the nice things with the growth of the company has been opportunity for associates to come on board. We have development plans so associates can get on track, and then most our people move up through the company, so they might start as a sales associate, but they can move up to a team leader, to assistant manager, to manager. And as we've grown these locations, we've been able to take these folks and provide growth opportunities for them in their career.
What is your background, John?
So I actually started at Elders ACE when I was 16 years old. So
wow.
I started when I was 16, just working as a sales associate part-time while I was in high school. Worked there for 2.5 years before I went to the University of Tennessee, go Vols, and got my degree. I had to work that in.
This is where we digress.
And
I thought this was one community united. See what I did there?
Thank you.
Pre-game.
Yeah, go Dogs.
So I knew you had to work that in too. So got my degree at UT. Came back at the time.
So are you from Rome?
I'm actually from Chattanooga.
Okay.
Chattanooga,
yeah,
Tennessee, and came back from UT. We had 10 stores at the time, and worked under our owner, Elder. He had done the marketing, and so he trained me up. I got to work with him for a few years. He's passed now, but great mentor for me personally, and since then we've just continued to grow. And so started out just doing marketing, and then as our company's grown, we've just kind of grown with it.
Well, and we know Brian's an Alabama person, and Carly's an Auburn person, and not sure about the ladies, but
I don't have a preference. I don't care.
Okay, that's a problem.
I know. I didn't want to say it, but
well, I can say that it doesn't matter what football team that you root for, you're welcome to join us.
Nice, Cheryl.
well, yeah, one community.
We can bridge that divide too. So.
So how do you guys, as nonprofits especially, how do you get the word out about who you are? Just word of mouth, podcasts, social media. How do you market yourself, Julie?
Wow, that's a great question. It's as a non-millennial, learning social media, I think for a lot of us in my age bracket has been challenging, but I've learned to love it. And also in Rome, I have to say it's pretty easy to get in the paper, which is great. We've got a great relationship with John Bailey and anybody over at the paper. So I appreciate that. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. We have a website as well, but really, for the most part, it's just been word of mouth. These walk and talks that we have that I referred to, probably we have about 50 people on average that come to those every month. So, people tell people, then they learn about it. We've got signage out at different trails that kind of have our logo and our website. So it's just a constant trying to get your name out there. The one thing that we do have going for us is we are the only trail nonprofit advocacy group in Northwest Georgia. So that's a nice place to be. I've got a great board of directors that puts the word out. And I think the goal, trying to get the word out, is probably just like Cheryl in One Community United. You just always have to stay out front. We're chamber members, and so the chamber does a great job in promoting us. And also, we just have a great group of local people, and we have a great relationship with the CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So we have a lot of partnerships that we're able to get the word out. And honestly, we're very grateful to Hardy because we have this space directly downstairs from where we are. So we have a Broad Street presence, and our sign is out there. So you really couldn't ask for a better location.
We're Hardy on Broad, and I guess you're Hardy under Broad.
Exactly. Yes, that is true.
Julie, does your website actually list all the trails with like where they start and everything?
Yes, we have a map, and what's really exciting is TRED, the City of Rome, and Floyd County. We partnered with Path Foundation over the last year. So Path Foundation built the Beltline. They've built multiple scores of trails in Georgia and also in South Carolina. So we were real excited to partner with them. And so what we realized, and we've known this for years, is that nobody really could tell you what the overall name of the trail system is. Everybody knows that there's Ridge Ferry, there's Kingfisher, there's Mount Berry, there's different sections that make up the trail, but the overall trail, nobody knew that it was the Heritage Riverways Trail Network. So that's a mouthful. So in this partnership with Path, we went through this rebranding process over lots of months, lots of surveys, lots of meetings, and what we came up with is a new name for a new rebranding for the trail system. So it is actually the Eco Trails. So Eco, Etowah, it's an acronym, Etowah, Coosa, Oostenaula River, right? So, and mile marker 0, in other words, kind of where we are envisioning the trail system starts. Obviously, you can get on it anywhere, but just for the name tie-in is at the Eco Center Ridge Ferry. And that's for multiple reasons. There's parking, there's restrooms, there's plenty of amenities right there. There's the Eco Center. You're on the river, so it's a natural tie-in. So we have a logo. So over the next couple months, look for new maps that show the eco trails. And we're actually in the process of working on signage. So we'll have directional signage, wayfinding signage, regulatory signs, kiosks, trailhead markers. So a whole new look for the trails. But that's a great question.
Yeah. So Brian, you just recently moved here, right? Or moved to Lake Weiss, you said.
That's right.
Yeah,
so somebody coming from Birmingham area, just trying to get used to the area. I do a lot of kayaking. So having a marker. I don't know if one of the trails might hit the water to where you can actually have access to it? Or?
Yeah, there are several put-ins, actually, so we can definitely talk about that. And so CRBI is another nonprofit that you can get involved with, too. But yeah, so that's a great thought. But yes, you're right, because we wouldn't have these trails without the blueways, the river trails, that were obviously the first trails, right, that the Native Americans used.
Yeah, I started to give Brian a quiz. I wanted to see if he could see what ECO stood for. And so for those listening around the world on the internet, downtown Rome is where the Etowah and the Oostenaula meet and merge to form the mighty Coosa.
And I remember that because you have the consonants, the Coosa. The vowels make up the consonant, right? The Etowah and the Oostenaula form the Coosa. So anyway, that's how I have to remember.
Well, coming from Alabama, the Coosa is very important because it actually forms a lot of the lakes with the dams.
Right.
And stuff. So there's probably 5 or 6 different lakes.
Well, we are 4 or 5 blocks away from where they merge, where the Coosa River starts. It's right down the street.
Well, my wife and I, when we first moved, we went to the clock tower and walked around that for a little bit, and then we actually went to that bridge with the locks on it.
Oh,
and looked at that, and saw the rivers merge, and we thought, well, that's kind of neat.
Well, and that actually, the Robert Redden Footbridge, also the Lock Bridge with the American flag, that's actually a little trivia for y'all. That's the first rail to trail in Georgia. So that was converted from the railroad. It was the old Central of Georgia Railroad. It was a swing bridge, you'll notice, in 1976. So first rail trail in Georgia.
I also believe that bridge in Barron Stadium just made an appearance in the last year or two in a Marvel movie, and I think it was the Black Widow. And so you see that in the first few minutes of the movie. That bridge lit up at night in Barron Stadium. And anyway, so let's kind of wrap up here, guys. And what we want to leave people with is contact information, website, social media, things like that. Cheryl, let's start with you. Website, social, how can people connect with you? And
we our website is onecommunityunited.org.
Okay.
We just had a young man revamp our website, Dakota Watley, and hoping to keep it. I think social media for my generation is always a challenge. We do have a website. We have Facebook. We have someone who does our Facebook and other social media. So yeah, and it's all under One Community United, Rome, Georgia.
Okay. Julie with TRED?
The website is treadromefloyd.com. And like I said, we've got Instagram, and it's actually trails.tread for our Instagram handle. And then we're also on Facebook, Tread Rome Floyd. And let me throw in one other plug, Roger. We are actually, TRED is having a fundraiser November the 12th at Jackson Hill Historic Waterworks. And so TRED built those trails at Jackson Hill. And so there's an old waterworks facility up there. And TRED is actually the first organization that's going to have an event there. It's November the 12th. It's a fundraiser. And Hardy Realty has been gracious enough. They are the presenting sponsor. So thank you, Hardy, for all that you've done. Tickets can actually be found on our website. If you'd like to go, we'll have a band, music, beverages, fire pit. It's going to be so much fun. Twilight on the Trails. November the 12th. So treadromefloyd.com.
Okay.
She's got some great tags, doesn't she?
Yeah. Was your background in marketing?
It was actually communication.
Well, there we go. Cheryl, I did want to ask you, you got one more time about your event. It's coming up this weekend, right?
It is this Sunday at 6:30.
Okay.
So,
And
ticket sales ended yesterday. So, but if you want to come and just experience it, please come and join us. And if we have an empty table, an empty chair at the table, you're welcome to come fill it.
Okay. And Brian and John with Elders Ace Hardware. The new store is open and you moved. And what prompted the move? I meant to ask that earlier. Is that local? Is that small town politics, or do I need to keep my mouth shut?
No. It was just an opportunity. We saw an opportunity to where we could grow into a bigger building.
There we go.
And it's just more opportunity to bring more categories into the store and serve the community a little bit better.
Okay. So tell us any specifics, your location, how people can connect with you, other stores, website, what have you.
So the new store is located at 610 Shorter Avenue, and so look forward to seeing everybody there. You can find us online at eldershardware.com, Facebook at Elders Ace, and then we also have Instagram. And so Elders Hardware, and so we got all the tags there. Do want to invite everyone out next weekend for our grand opening at the new location. So September 23rd and 24th, we're going to be having a grand opening celebration. Chamber will be with us there. We got a ribbon cutting on that Friday at 2 p.m. and then just have sales going on all weekend. So check out the new location just with the new outdoor category. The garden center just opened up with some great fall color, and so mums and pansies and everything like that are out there, and the new home and gift area too. So it's really neat as well.
Well, it's interesting. I catch myself. I'll ask the nonprofits a lot. What do you need from our listeners? You need donations or volunteers, what have you. But with the small business, you need customers to come support local businesses.
Yes, and we just
everybody
we can help you.
Everybody needs a hammer, and I know where to get it. Carly, final thoughts from the chamber.
I just want to thank everyone that's coming, and make sure anyone that's listening, go check out their websites and our website at romega.com. Y'all can always look on our calendar and see all these events that are going on. It's a great way to stay in the community, kind of see what's going on with our nonprofits, our small businesses, stuff like that. So we're just very excited about everything that's going on in Rome, and kind of picking up in busy season and fall season, football season as well. And maybe not for me right now, but we'll see. But thank you guys again for coming. We really do appreciate you guys being a supportive chamber member, and we love all our members and trying to show spotlight for that. So if you ever need us, you can call us at 291-7663. And also my email is kparker@romega.com. Would love to stay in contact with y'all. If y'all need anything from the chamber, please let us know.
All right, thank you. The chamber is always busy. The chamber's always got a lot going on, but this was an interesting show. All of y'all have something going on coming up, a grand opening, an event, a fundraiser, so it's a busy time of year. It's very exciting. Thank y'all so much for being here. You've been listening to the Rome Floyd Chamber Small Business Spotlight. We broadcast from the Hardy Realty Studios on Broad Street, and we work in cooperation with the Rome News Tribune. Thank you so much for listening.